Prince Harry is back in the UK as King Charles celebrates his coronation 1 year later. Plus, Princess Kate may prolong her hiatus as a friend says she is heartbroken over her cancer diagnosis. Plus, Meghan and Harry are giving William and Kate space during this trying time. But what does it mean for their future? Royal historian Ed Owens breaks it all down.
At the moment, I don't see a pathway back, but the obvious sort of story that sort of is looming in the background is in relation to their father.
We got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hey everyone, I'm Christina and that's Christine, and welcome to Royally Us. Prince Harry is back in the UK, but it doesn't look like he's going to see his family.
Is this I feel like we're sort of like on a record that keeps skipping. Like we're just repeating the same thing every couple of months. Harry goes back to the UK. He doesn't see either his brother or his father or both of them. And then we repeat this cycle. But luckily, even though they're not seeing each other and there's no royal meetups, there's still lots of royal news going on this week.
Lots of royal news, so let's get right to it. So on May 1st at Buckingham Palace, the King and Queen were presented with the coronation roll, an official record of the crowning ceremony that took place on May 6th of last year, which is crazy. I can't believe it was a year ago. The coronation roll serves as an official account of Charles's coronation and includes interviews with several of the people who held key roles in the event. It was presented to the King and the public as a state record of the milestone occasion, in keeping with a tradition that began in 1308. The roll will be stored in the National Archives. Pretty cool. So King Charles, like we said, he celebrated his first anniversary of his historic coronation in a modern way. On May 6th, the royal family shared a new 90-second video looking back at the three-day festivities held in honor of the King's crowning alongside Queen Camilla at Westminster Abbey. The video opened with footage of the King greeting well-wishers on the mall outside Buckingham Palace on Coronation Eve as audio rolled from a pre-recorded message he released at the time for train and tube stations in the UK.
Mr. Pilot, Your Majesty, you can be my wingman anytime.
So proud of you, and I also want to express my pride and gratitude for the millions of people who serve in the forces, in classrooms, hospital wards and local communities. I wish I could mention you all. Your service inspires us. God save the King.
Definitely a new way to kind of mark the occasion, and definitely a thank you to everybody that came out to celebrate him.
Yeah, this is definitely very modern, a sign of the times and a reminder of the new reign, the new era, this very modern monarchy that is trying to appeal to a younger demographic. Because obviously Queen Elizabeth II just had the same demographic for her whole 70-year reign. And now King Charles is really having to adapt and try new things to stay relevant, but also stay in touch with the public, which I think he's doing so well. But it was so fun to look back, to remember. I cannot believe it's been an entire year, but all of the celebrations, not just the coronation day, but the people down at the Mall, the events leading up to it. It's been so much fun to remember such a happy time.
All right. Well, on May 7th, the Duke of Sussex joined a panel during his trip to the UK for the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. The discussion, the IGF conversation, realizing a global community, is set to reflect on the global community of service personnel and their families that the Invictus Games has fostered since its inception a decade ago through the power of adaptive sport, from Prince Harry's initial inspiration at the Warrior Games to Invictus's impact in the years since. Beyond the panel, he is his itinerary includes a service at St. Paul's Cathedral on May 8th. He is set to deliver a reading at the cathedral in the heart of London, and Homeland star Damian Lewis will recite the poem Invictus. So like we said, he's going to be busy over the course of the next few days while he is in the UK before he heads to Nigeria with Meghan, who did not attend the trip to the UK, as it was Archie's birthday recently as well. So they are definitely keeping busy. But as of right now, when we film this, there is no communication with or maybe communication, but no seeing his family in person.
Yeah, Prince Harry did release a statement to the press today, and we're recording this on Tuesday, that he has no plans to see his father because his father's diary is quite full. I think lots of people could read a lot into that in either direction, but his main focus on this trip is the Invictus Games. We know that that's a high priority for him. It's one of his proudest and most important projects that he works with. I mean, most of his major events and engagements and trips, most of the work he does lately is with the Invictus Games. So we can really see how that's just one of his top priorities in his work, is working with these wounded warriors, with these, injured service members, and promoting this project.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, King Charles was left surprised when his niece Zara Tindle broke the rigid royal protocol and threw her arms around him during a sweet reunion. So during the unprecedented move, Tindle was overheard gushing, Uncle Charles, as the pair hugged on May 3rd. So horse enthusiast Tindle beamed as she spoke to her uncle at the Royal Windsor Horse Show during what was his third engagement of the week. So he definitely was pretty busy last week. So Princess Anne and her husband were also in attendance, and as were Prince Edward and his wife, Sophie. So Charles was present for the third day, like I said, of the event, just 3 days after he visited hospital patients in London on his return to public-facing royal duties. We know that the horse show is always a big event for the royal family, so it was nice for him to step out because, like we said, this is something that I think they look forward to each and every year.
Yeah, this is very much the start of the spring and summer calendar. We know that Queen Elizabeth II and the late Queen Mother and Princess Margaret also attended the Royal Windsor Horse Show. It is a huge event. It's very well known throughout England. And so it was no surprise that the royals really came out in full force for this, but it was lovely to see the family dynamic from Zara Tindle with King Charles to King Charles with his brother. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh attended several events with the King and Queen. So it was just nice to see them all together. It feels semi-normal, as the beginning of this year felt so abnormal and so much, sadness and upsetting news and uncertainty. Now we're getting back into the swing of things, and it feels really good to see them together as a family.
It does. It really does. It's nice, like we said, kind of getting back to a little bit of normalcy. All right, well, let's spill the royal tea. And Prince Andrew is said to be facing eviction from King Charles after reportedly neglecting to pay for the over $500,000 upkeep of his $37 million mansion. So the prince has been fighting to stay at the historic Royal Lodge home, which requires an annual $500,000 upkeep per year. So he is said to have previously demanded that Andrew and his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, vacate the 90-acre property and move to somewhere smaller, such as Frogmore Cottage. As we know, that is the former home of Harry and Meghan. However, it was reported that Andrew thought moving to that home would have been too big a downgrade. So damp issues and wear and tear are now said to ravage the building. Cracks are becoming worse in the brickwork. There's plaster falling off and there is peeling paint. This is based on some new photos. So his annual allowance is believed to be about $315,000. And that was stopped after the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, and which had him take a step back from public-facing duties. So the king is said to be reluctant to simply kick Andrew out of the property, as the prince took it over from the Crown Estate in 2004 on a long-term lease. Interesting story. So I wonder if he will be forced to vacate if he can't keep up with these with these renovations. There's some word on the street that the Crown Estate could end up owing him money. It's also been said that they would open this up to the public as well. So what do you kind of make about all this?
Yeah, I think this is sort of the story that won't seem to die. It does seem, especially based on this, that they want Andrew out, and it may be a bigger issue than just wanting Andrew to, take a smaller property, punish him. It is probably this property probably does need extensive renovations. And to be honest, the public is not going to pay to restore and renovate Prince Andrew's house. But if it was seen as a historic property, part of the estate that they wanted to keep in good standing for either leasing it or turning it into some sort of historical home, a museum of some sort, then the public may be more keen to spend that money. But the longer Andrew stays and the work isn't done, the worse the house gets.
Yeah, no, yeah. It might just be like a structural, like you said, it's a structural issue. It might just not even be safe to stay in the house much longer either if like all these renovations aren't getting done. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I don't think the public's going to be forking out the money for Prince Andrew to stay in his $37 million mansion. Princess Kate Middleton will reportedly prolong her hiatus from public engagements amid her cancer battles. The Times of London reported Kate is expected to be away from public duties for some time, noting that Kate could later be keen to attend events when she feels able to. This comes as her designer friend Amaya Arrieta says she's heartbroken as the royal couple cope with her cancer battle. She said in an interview with The Telegraph, "I'm heartbroken at the moment. I think they are going through hell. I hope they will be back. It's really personal." So for over decades, she has worked as a stylist for Kate and William's children. She gushed that getting the opportunity to dress the royals fills her with so much pride, and she really cares about how they look. Surprised that she actually did this interview because, as we know, people close to them don't really speak out, especially something so personal. So interesting that they actually got an interview with her.
Yeah, this is, this usually tells whether they're really, really close or just sort of professionally close. So this may not be as close of a friendship as we are led to believe, because as you said, usually those extra close to the Prince and Princess of Wales are very tight-lipped. It's why we really haven't heard anything from them lately. There's been no sort of leaks or slips or, sources say the Prince and Princess of Wales are definitely laying low right now. And I do think it'll be some time before we see the Princess of Wales fully back to work or even back to work at all, because she's not going to get this opportunity again to really take the time to take care of herself and to fully heal so that she can hit the ground running. So I do think, to what Maya Arrieta said, that they are probably going through hell. But this is a personal time for them, and I think they're really taking as much time as they feel they can.
Yeah, and they should too. I mean, like you said, this is a time she can't get back. You don't want to push it and go too soon and end up feeling worse. This is her time to heal, and everybody should respect that. But hopefully people will. Well, it seems like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle might actually be doing that, because we hear that they are treading lightly with the Prince and Princess of Wales. A source tells us that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex want to be super respectful and don't want to add stress to the situation. If Will and Kate want their space, Meghan and Harry will give it to them. A second source notes that Kate's cancer diagnosis put things into perspective for the princess and her husband regarding the family feud. They add that they want a relationship with Meghan and Harry, and they don't want the acrimony to carry over to the next generation. I mean, like we said, it's kind of a broken record. We'll see if anything kind of comes of this. If they want healing in the future, we'll never know. Hopefully, but it's nice that we hear that they're giving them the space that they need. Like you said, I think it was actually probably best that Harry put out that statement saying that he's not seeing his family, so there wasn't all this speculation taking away from the Invictus games and everybody kind of creating this false narrative. So it was nice that he kind of like put it out there and been like, okay, no more questions about this.
Yeah, I think so. And his diary is quite full. The King's diary is quite full. Prince William has a lot going on right now, so it's not a huge surprise, but I'm sure there'll be lots of speculation either way. It is nice to hear that Harry and Meghan are sort of giving them the space that they need right now.
Definitely. All right, well, let's break down the royal rules and revisit more from our chat with royal historian Ed Owens, who gave us his take on the future for Harry and William. Do you feel like these issues between the brothers go too deep that they could ever really reconcile? And is there something or someone that you feel would bring them together?
At the moment, I don't see a pathway back, but the obvious sort of story that sort of is looming in the background is in relation to their father. If their father was to become increasingly unwell, then perhaps there would be some kind of reconciliation on the cards. This happens all the time when families are beset by tragedy. Often when a member of the family gets severely sick, it can lead to the patching up of differences between other members of the family that were once estranged. So I think it would be an inadvertent reconciliation in that respect.
Yeah, so you feel like it's probably the wives aren't going to help out, the kids aren't going to help out. It's probably going to be some sort of tragic event.
At this stage, yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that, not having Prince Harry there is a missed opportunity. Do you agree with that as well?
Well, yes and no. I think given that all the bad blood that's built up between Harry and other members of the family over the last almost 5 years, it's becoming increasingly difficult to sort of present Harry as a sort of a positive figure within this family setup. And yet at the same time, I have a lot of sympathy for Harry. I think that he was extraordinarily popular with the British public before he and Meghan split with the monarchy. And that's not to suggest that maybe there's one day they could sort of reclaim that kind of popularity, that kind of endearment they had with the public as well. So no, I'm in two minds about it. At the moment, I don't see any sort of clear route back for Harry. The king is doing sort of everything he needs to do to make it look as though he is at least working towards some kind of reconciliation. Right. But the relationship between William and Harry seems to be very bent out of shape, and I think that's going to take a lot more work.
All right, well, let's wrap this up with our pint-sized palace. And Prince Archie turned 5 on May 6th. And People magazine reported that the family celebrated privately before Harry headed to the UK for the Invictus celebrations. They understand that the family celebrated his birthday privately and before Meghan joins him on the upcoming travel plans, as we know that she is set to go to Nigeria for the Invictus Games as well. So that was really nice. And it was also Princess Charlotte's birthday. She celebrated her 9th birthday. We got a new photo in celebration of her big day. So lots of royal kids celebrate birthday celebrations. Princess Lilibet is in a couple of weeks as well. So yeah, lots of celebrating.
Yeah, these kids are growing up too fast, though. I can't believe, Archie is 5. Charlotte is how old? This is unbelievable.
It's crazy. It goes by so fast. And literally, Charlotte is like a spitting image of her father.
Yes. William with long hair.
William with long hair. We didn't know. There it is. If you were ever wondering, here it is. But yeah, so hopefully everybody had some wonderful birthday celebrations, and we love seeing the photos. So they're wonderful. And the Princess of Wales did take this one, and it didn't look like it was edited.
Yeah, no Photoshop this time.
No Photoshop this time. All right, well, that is it for this week. Lots of big royal news, as always. So keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you soon.